What it do? What it do? We back again with another one on your head top. Today we gonna be reacting to Patrick CC, the darkest Family Guy episode banned from TV. Let's see, cause Family Guy's my shit. South Park. I like American Dad. It's cool. I never liked The Simpsons. People gonna hear that. Well, what is The Simpsons? I've never liked The Simpsons. I don't know, something about the color, the yellow. I just couldn't get with it. Everybody yellow. I don't know. I just never liked The Simpsons. I watched a few episodes like a long time ago, but Family Guy is the shit. I like Futurama. These type of raunchy cartoons is like Family Guy, Futurama, South Park. It was a show that used to be on Comedy Central. It was called and it was all like living in a house. What the hell was it called, bro? Man, the show was funny too. It was good though. But I like them type of cartoons. But I never, Simpsons couldn't get with it. But let's get into it though.
A literal cartoon.
Could never get with the Simpsons. Everybody yellow. That's just not it.
War broke out. Writers of The Simpsons, South Park, King of the Hill, and Ren and Stimpy were all attacking Seth MacFarlane's Family Guy. But it's not hard to see why they were upset. Family Guy was successful by repeating the same lazy comedic formula over and over again for decades, leading to 9 Primetime Emmy Awards and even a Grammy nomination. With tensions at an all-time high against Family Guy, Seth MacFarlane finally decided to respond to the criticism. And as a result, he created one of the most controversial episodes in animation history. It was so bad that the Fox network refused to air it on live TV, and many lost respect for Seth MacFarlane forever.
What about South Park?
They can go to hell.
Seth MacFarlane had a dark sense of humor, and he wanted to push the boundaries in the animation industry. As a kid, he was obsessed with cartoons like the Flintstones and Woody Woodpecker. He would spend hours drawing and studying these classic animated shows. By the time he was 9, he was already publishing a weekly comic strip for his local newspaper. But unlike other aspiring animators who were writing kid-friendly cartoons, MacFarlane's humor was intentionally offensive. He wasn't interested in heartwarming stories. He wanted to stir the pot with edgy jokes.
Did he get in any trouble for his drawing?
Yeah.
What kind of stuff?
He was the cartoonist for the school paper, and the character in his cartoon is taking communion. The comment underneath said, "Could I have fries with that, please?"
And Seth can still remember how a local priest reacted to that cartoon.
Dear Seth, shame on you for insulting the Almighty God and those who love him.
After studying animation at the Rhode Island School of Design, MacFarlane caught the attention of Hanna-Barbera Productions with his thesis film, Life of Larry.
Is it too much for a kid to just call his parents if he's going to be out late? You know, I mean, especially in a city like this. It ain't safe, you know, Lois? I mean, even in this apartment. I mean, some nut in his underpants could just walk in off the street, bang on the door, and demand God knows what.
You guys have any Cheez-Its?
Honey, I think we should move.
During his time at Hanna-Barbera, he helped write and animate legendary cartoons like Johnny Bravo and Dexter's Laboratory. And while most animators work behind the scenes for years before ever getting the opportunity to share their own projects, MacFarlane just kind of skipped the line. He pitched a crude, low-budget cartoon about a dysfunctional family featuring an alcoholic dad, a talking dog, and a violent baby to various networks, and Fox took a gamble.
And the crazy part, almost all these type of cards, because I'm usually into like Japanese anime, stuff like that, Dragon Ball Z. You know the regular stuff. Like I've been watching Dragon Ball Z since the 90s. I was born 92, and I remember watching Dragon Ball Z since the 90s. So those type, I like action cartoons. Like I don't really like. Well, my pops put me on to real young too. It's a terrible dad for putting me onto this stuff. Like he put me on the Family Guy, South Park, all these cartoons. My pops used to like. My pops like these type of shit too. Like he's the one who told me like, yo, watch this, Futurama. But I remember the first episode I seen with Family Guy. Stewie, I don't know if that was the first episode or what. Stewie pushes mom down the stairs. Right, boom, she hurt. She hurt. Then he went pushed the goddamn dress on top of her. Then he came with a grenade, opened the dresser, and dropped her. I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, bro, this baby just keep trying to kill his mom. I'm like, what? I would never forget that. I was like, what? He wants to kill his mother. And I was hooked from there.
gamble on him. In 1999, Family Guy was born, making Seth MacFarlane the youngest showrunner in television
24.
history. But what nobody knew at the time was that this show would go on to change the animation landscape and make Seth one of the most hated men in the industry. Over the years, Family Guy has been called many things, from iconic to offensive, but if there's one word that keeps coming up, it's lazy. I enjoy Family Guy because it's something you can watch and laugh at without thinking. It has a formula.
Yeah, it's not too... Like South Park, it's different. Like, I love South Park. I like South Park more than Family Guy. Like, South Park, I think they the legends. They the ones who can't be faded. I put them above all these other type of cartoons in that category. South Park is number one. They'll make fun... Bro, some of them episodes... Because... Like, over the years, I kind of drifted off because I don't really watch TV as much now, so I don't really see them. But I got Amazon Prime, so they got South Park up there, so I watch the episodes up there. When I see some of these episodes, they be have, like, it be a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. Like, DEI, they talking about that. All this feminist stuff, LGBTQ. One of the... They South Park was ahead of their time, too. They had a gay teacher, Mr. Garrison. Not Mr. Garrison. What was his name? The gay teacher, but they had him, Hanky. They had everything. Bruh, when I tell you the stuff they make, it can't be faded. Like, they minds. They actually really creative. Like this episode they did like a few months ago with they had a whole COVID season with COVID. The one with the bums. This was years ago too, before I even really started seeing all the bum stuff in California. When they was, oh my God, when they had bums coming to South Park and they just got asking for change. You got any change? You spare some change? And they was like, no, I ain't got no change. He's like, I just gave you some change. And then they started taking it was like a zombie apocalypse, basically. They trying to make it seem like zombies. And then they start taking over the town, just begging for change. Bro, they was like, how do we... They was... No, bro. When I think about that episode, though, that shit was funny. He was like... They went to a scientist, and he was like, somehow the homeless are feeding off of our change. I was like, bro, what the fuck is happening? And he's like, if you give them change... And they had one of them locked up. Like it was a zombie, and they would study him. And then he's like, can you spend some change? Spend some change? And then the scientist gives him some change, right? And then he put it in his pocket, and he's like, can you spend some change? He's like, you see? Somehow the homeless just forgot that I just gave him some change. I was like, yo. Because they would literally do that. You would just give them some change, and then go back somebody else some change. Like, bro, I just gave you some change. Yo, bro, that shit was funny. And he was like, at Cartman, he was like skateboarding, and he jumped over he barely made it over one homeless with his skateboard. Legend has it, he jumped over he was like, yeah, I heard you jumped over like 20 homeless. He's like, yeah, I could have easily cleared 30. He's like, motherfucker, you barely made it over one. No, bro. That episode had me dying, but they have so many episodes like that, son. And then they tricked them all to go to California. And oh my God, that shit was funny. And then when I see the other day, like I was on Twitter, and I was seeing all these homeless encampments, so I was like, yo, this was South Park, because I'm not from California. I'm like, this was South Park was talking about. And that episode was years ago. That's to show you how long this homeless shit been going on in California, bro. I had went to Cali a few years ago during the pandemic. I went there a few times. There was some homeless out there. There definitely was some homeless out there.
That formula is easy to digest and laugh at without needing to pay attention.
Yeah, you don't really got to pay attention. You really don't got to pay attention.
Yeah, when doing something else.
Yeah, you don't really got to pay attention.
A story, don't try to expect it from.
That's one thing I got to say about Family Guy. South Park, you got to watch it because it's very creative. It got you thinking. It's very creative. Family Guy is just, it's not as deep.
Family Guy. That's missing the point. Much of the criticism towards Family Guy is that the show has a repetitive formula, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. A large amount of the episodes are basically Peter does something stupid, Brian and Stewie go on some weird side quest, Meg gets bullied for no reason, and every few minutes they put in a random cutaway gag that has absolutely nothing to do with the story.
I thought I could deal with being blind at first, but I don't know. I haven't felt this out of place since that week I lived with Superman.
We must stop Lex Luthor
Definitely
before
do.
he irradiates the world's supply of gold.
Hi, sorry, I know you got a meeting going on, but, we are officially running low on Mr. Pibb and Cheez-Its. Just putting it out there.
Just put it out
If you're heading to the store later,
4-hour
800-mile
drive
drive for me, like, 5 seconds for you.
Critics believe Family Guy doesn't rely on good storytelling or deep character
they
arcs,
don't.
and instead fires off quick, easy, and pointless jokes. Some hit, some miss,
But
it
that's
doesn't
kind of
really
why I like it. It's not too deep. But and then I like South Park because it is deep and they're very creative. But I would definitely say South Park is better than Family Guy. Definitely.
matter because the show moves so fast that nobody has time to care. Family Guy's cutaway gags used to enhance the quality of the overall episode, making the show's style unique, but over time they stopped being objectively funny and became random for the sake of being
it just
random.
became kind of random.
When
That's
did
one
you
thing I
become
noticed.
so
that.
polite?
Oh, I've been hanging out with Caillou's beta dad. In fact, I'm meeting him at the park to eat unsalted saltines on the swings. I feel like you're wearing what Rachel Maddow would wear to a pumpkin patch.
As the years went on, many thought that the show was using these gags as a way to fill up their time slot and maybe make up for poor writing. We know for sure this is how The Simpsons creator Matt Groening felt, because he did not shy away from blatantly making fun of Family Guy in front of their millions of viewers. At the start of 1999, Family Guy made its debut on Fox while The Simpsons was already on its 11th season. Immediately, the two shows were competing for viewers on the same network, with Family Guy pulling similar numbers to The Simpsons. The Simpsons officially ignited the beef in the episode Treehouse of Horror. In the episode, Homer discovers how to clone himself, but his attempts were not perfect. Some of the clones came out looking off. As the camera pans across the field of cloned Homers, one of them looks like Peter Griffin. Seth MacFarlane realized that this was Groening accusing Peter Griffin of being a copy of Homer Simpson, and that accusation is not too far from the truth. The Simpsons pioneered adult animation in the mainstream, proving that animated shows could appeal to more than just kids and can oftentimes be edgy and controversial.
These is
And
not
the genius
shows
behind
for
the
kids.
show
South
was
Park is
Matt
not a kid show. I mean, no, it's not a kid show, dog. They, especially the uncut. That's why I like South Park on Prime, because it's uncut. You get the cursing, bitch, fuck, hoe. I remember back in the day. Oh my god, the song. Kyle's mom is a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's a biggest bitch in the whole wild world. She's a stinky bitch, she's a smelly bitch, all little boys and girls. That was my shit. Yo. Oh my god, bro. They fucking Osama bin Laden fucking Satan. Oh my god. Cause mom is a bitch, she's a big fat bitch, she's the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a Stanley bitch, she's a stinky bitch. She's a bitch to all the boys and girls.
Groening. Unlike Seth MacFarlane, who had a degree in animation, Matt Groening was just a self-taught hobbyist trying to make ends meet with his cartoons. In the late 70s, he was living in Los Angeles, barely scraping by, drawing and selling his own self-published magazine called Life in Hell. After his cartoon got the attention of Hollywood producer James Brooks, who produced talk shows and small TV shows, he asked Groening to make short animated skits for the Tracy Ullman Show, which resulted in Groening creating a batch of characters for these segments called The Simpsons.
Here we have Bart Simpson, the young lad who captured the notorious candy store bandit. How does it feel to be a hero, Bart?
Pretty damn good, Phil.
Your family must be proud of you right now.
I bet they're jumping up and down.
What started out as shorts on a sketch comedy show in 1987 quickly turned into a full-length series by 1989, and from the moment it premiered, it was an instant cultural sensation. The Simpsons wasn't just another cartoon, it was the cartoon.
So
the show took the
years.
classic family sitcom formula seen in popular shows like The Cosby Show and flipped it on its
Jesus Christ.
head.
What's her name? Still look good, bro. From the Cosbys. I forgot her name. She went viral the other day because she was talking about women. They need to start dressing more modestly. Oh, those scallywags, they came for her neck. She was so beautiful, dog. Look at her. Gorgeous. Stunning. I don't even use these words. Like stunning and gorgeous. I don't even talk like that. So you know I mean what I say. gorgeous, bro. I swear to God, she's like 75 years old right now. I think she's 75. I think she's like 70, 75. She still look good. And you can see her now and be like, I could only imagine how she looked back in the day. Ugh.
Like The Cosby Show, and flipped it on its head. Instead of a picture-perfect suburban family, you had Homer, who is a beer-drinking, insane father that often physically abuses his son. Marge is a tired mother, constantly trying to hold the family together. Bart is a preteen-aged menace that lives to cause chaos. Lisa is a misunderstood genius in a messed-up family. And Maggie is a baby who doesn't talk too much, but has a lot of personality. And not to mention the people of Springfield, which is filled with seemingly an endless list of side characters that fans would slowly get to know over the years, such as Ned Flanders, Krusty the Clown, Sideshow Bob, Snake, Professor Frink, and so many others. What made The Simpsons revolutionary was how it could go from making fun of politics and pop culture to having genuine interactions that made the characters feel real. Like, these weren't just wacky cartoon characters, they represented people that you knew in your real life. It wasn't just about gag humor, it was about telling great stories that happened to be hilarious, and it worked. By the early 90s, The Simpsons was the most watched show on television, with viewership peaking at 15 to 20 million viewers per episode. Family Guy, on the other hand, was canceled twice in its first 3 seasons, probably because many people felt it was the inferior copy of The Simpsons. However, they came back stronger than ever due.
I never really thought it was like a knockoff version of The Simpsons. I thought it was alright. And for me, I never liked The Simpsons, like I said in the earlier parts of this video. The yellow was too much yellow. I can't. That's just it for me. It was just, I think that's really what it is. I can't get into the characters. This yellow, saturated, everybody's yellow was like, no. Maybe I just don't like the color yellow. I don't know.
DVD sales and high ratings.
With Avery's WePrint service, the thing that I like about it is how quickly you can order.
The reason is
I really probably don't like yellow because I like SpongeBob, but he's like the only yellow character. Like every character, if they was different colors maybe, but everybody being yellow, that shit is not.
The senior vice president of Fox Home Entertainment said Family Guy had proved an unexpected success on DVD as well. The first boxed set of episodes has sold 1.55 million, ranking number 3 among television shows behind the first season of The Simpsons on Fox and Chappelle's Show on Comedy Central. After the show came back on air in 2005, it dominated, with the 4th season averaging 7.9 million viewers per episode, which at the time was more than twice as many viewers as South Park.
Damn.
And looking back on season 4, it's easy to see why it performed so well.
He takes the beam. The spectators hold their breath. Stewie is America's last hope to take home the gold. Oh, did you see that, Mitch? I sure did, Kathy. That was impressive.
Season 4 is called by some peak Family Guy. It was paced well, funny, and just the right amount of offensive. The cutaways were tasteful, adding to the chaos without taking away from the story. And during Family Guy's resurgence in popularity, The Simpsons writers decided it was the perfect time to diss them once again. In Season 17, Episode 8 of The Simpsons, 2 Italian police officers are flipping through a book of known criminals. As they skip through the mugshots, you can see a picture of Peter Griffin with the crime of plagiarismo, which means plagiarism in Italian. The diss could not be more clear, again claiming that Family Guy is stealing the premise of The Simpsons. They also threw a bonus jab in at American Dad, which is Seth MacFarlane's other show, essentially saying they are a copy of a copy. And while these jabs feel like The Simpsons play fighting with Family Guy, South Park came out of nowhere and dropped an absolute bomb on them. A diss that was so brutal that multiple writers in the animation industry personally thanked them for attacking MacFarlane. Matt Stone and Trey Parker were just 2 film school kids from the University of Colorado who couldn't care less about what other people thought of their humor. They both believed that comedy could be as offensive and brutally honest as possible while also having a great story. In 1992, Matt and Trey met on the set of a student project. To pass time in between takes, they would do voices for each other trying to make the other one laugh, and they instantly became best friends.
You do eating sounds? Oh yeah.
That's a cuttlefish and asparagus.
Cuttlefish.
That's a cuttlefish and asparagus is not sitting well. Oh no! Cuttlefish is about to come out of my.
But also Kyle.
Oh, here it comes. Oh, it's going to be a rush. Hold on, Caillou. I believe in you.
I believe in you.
At the end of every semester, the film department put on a student screening.
Nah, the Asian accent is killing me. I genuinely thought they had an Asian dude there. I don't know why. I said, oh, the cuttlefish. The cuttlefish. I can't breathe. My stomach hurt. Oh, shit. He's like, I believe in you, Kyle. Oh shit. That episode 2, that was the episode where they was like trying to get the human Sentai pad. I remember that. For the Human Centipede, that movie. Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. I know behind the scenes they be dying like he said the cuttlefish.
And since it was right before Christmas, they needed something Christmassy. So Matt and Trey decided to use construction paper cutouts to animate characters and make their first short together called Jesus vs. Frosty, which would lay the foundation for what we now know as South Park. After college, both Matt and Trey moved to LA, where they would meet Fox executive Brian Graydon at a screening of their indie film, Cannibal the Musical. Brian loved their style so much, he decided to help spread their work around the industry. After some back and forth negotiations with companies like Fox and MTV, Comedy Central decided to greenlight the first episode of South Park. Although it is still in the adult animation genre, South Park takes a different approach than Family Guy and The Simpsons. South Park is all about creativity and unpredictability. One week, the elementary-aged kids are dealing with normal school drama, and the next, they're fighting a war against gnomes stealing people's underwear. And yet, that's still not even the craziest situation these kids have gotten into.
Oh my god.
Do you like it? Do you like it, Scott? I call it Mr. and Mrs. Tenorman chili.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Yeah. I made you eat your parents.
South Park instantly turned Comedy Central from a struggling cable network to a network powerhouse, pulling in between 3.1 and 5.5 million viewers per episode. By season 2, it was breaking records. On April 22nd, 1998, the episode Cartman's Mom is Still a Dirty pulled in 6.2 million viewers, making it the highest rated non-sports show in cable history at the time. To put it into perspective, 8 of the 10 most watched shows on cable that spring were South Park episodes. In just over 1 year, Trey Parker and Matt Stone took over cable TV. They also developed a seething hatred for Family Guy. When asked about how he feels about Seth MacFarlane's empire, Trey Parker said, "There's more and more stuff every day finding its way onto American television that I think is really great. But then you get this bubblegum shit that's just like, by the book. What we call 9-to-5 comedy writers. They mostly have families and kids, and that's the most important thing. And then they go into work and write comedy, and when it's 5 o'clock, it's time to go. It's gag humor. And gag humor drives us crazy, where it's just like, here's a gag, here's a gag. It's got nothing to do with what's going on in the show, just like, here's a gag. And anyone who writes comedy knows that that is the very easiest, simplest thing to do, and you don't really need any talent to do it. You just need to learn the craft and do it." Similar frustrations were expressed by John Kricfalusi, the creator of the iconic cartoon Ren and Stimpy. If you're a kid wanting to be a cartoonist today, and you're looking at Family Guy, you don't have to aim very high. You can draw Family Guy when you're 10 years old. You don't have to get any better than that to become a professional cartoonist. The standards are extremely low. Tensions in the animation industry were at an all-time high, with more people speaking out against Family Guy than ever. So in 2006, Matt and Trey decided to...
There was a point there Family Guy was doing big numbers, so is it just because like they was hating and they was like, fuck, they coming around taking it? I don't know. Or I mean, I could see what they saying in terms of what they saying. I've seen it. It's not. It doesn't really follow. Like each episode isn't its own story. Like South Park, each episode is his own story. Like it's actually telling a story and it's funny. They shit is like he says, just gag. Sometimes the cutaways, it literally makes no sense. It's like, what is going on? But it's funny. It's like, whatever. But maybe it could be a combination of both.
Escalate the tension to a full-blown war.
Really
South Park released a 2-part episode titled Cartoon Wars. In the episode, Cartman really wants to sabotage Family Guy because he hates their lazy gag writing. As Cartman arrives to the Fox Network writing room, he is shocked to learn that Family Guy is like written by manatees who pick random idea balls from a tank. Each ball contains a verb, noun, or pop culture reference, which the manatees choose an idea ball and swim it over to the joke combine. South Park essentially proves how formulaic and ridiculous Family Guy jokes are by assembling 5 idea balls that say laundry, date, winning, Mexico, Gary Coleman.
Peter, you didn't do the laundry today.
You think that's bad? Remember the time I won a date to Mexico with Gary Coleman?
¿Qué pasa, señores? What you talking about, Willis?
When this episode released, millions of people around the world witnessed South Park brutally minimize Family Guy's value to the entertainment industry. And it turns out, Matt Stone and Trey Parker were not the only ones in the industry who hated Family Guy.
After the first part aired, we got calls from people at The Simpsons saying thank you, because they actually hate Family Guy more than we do. And then we got calls from people that work on King of the Hill saying, they said, quote, you're doing God's work by ripping on Family Guy. And like, because Family Guy is kind of this, it's like the Justin Timberlake thing. It's like when you're a musician and you're doing your stuff and you're working hard and you're trying to do art, and then Justin Timberlake comes along and just rakes in all the cash and everyone thinks he's awesome. You're like, dude, come on, that's not that good.
Up until this point, McFarlane never really responded to the jabs and criticism towards his show, but this attack was too big to ignore. Ironically, he didn't fire back at South Park. Instead, he shifted his anger towards his original haters, The Simpsons. However, many believe he took it too far, and this joke nearly destroyed his reputation forever. In a 2007 Family Guy episode titled Moving Out, at the bottom of the screen appears a bumper for The Simpsons, with a miniature Marge waving to the audience. Because both shows air on Fox, this could have easily been mistaken for a genuine promo. Then miniature Quagmire runs over and attempts to essay Marge. She fights him off and dashes off screen, but then Quagmire, with his pants around his ankles, chases after her. Then it cuts to a shot outside of the Simpsons' home where we can hear Marge and Quagmire having sex in the parents' bedroom. Homer then walks in, catching them, shocked. And from there, you can hear Quagmire shoot and kill the entire Simpsons family.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
You shot my homie! I'm calling the police!
So, Simpsons, R-word, and murder. Yeah, that got dark real fast. This scene was so brutal, it actually never made it to live TV.
No, bro, fuck
the only
that.
reason we ever got to see this scene was because it was included in the Family Guy DVD box set. Also on the DVD, Seth MacFarlane does a director's commentary where he discusses this specific scene, doubling down that he feels this joke was not too far and it should have been aired.
I'm not going to be diplomatic. Because what happened here was fucking bullshit. This is a gag I got a call from the network saying, you can't do this. You cannot do this gag. And with The Simpsons, and I said, why not? They've made fun of Family Guy like 5 times, which they're entitled to do. I mean, they make fun of everyone, and so do we. So what's why can't we take a little shot at them? And they said, well, because we want to end the feud. And I said, well, what feud? What are you talking about? I had talked with Matt Groening, who has a wonderful sense of humor about this stuff. And, there's no feud. Plus it's...
We actually have had a couple of writers, Simpson writers, who have written for Family Guy, Richard Pell and Brian Scott.
Yeah, I mean, it's, they've taken many, many shots at us, again, all of which have been funny. And Fox said, well, this seems a little personal. And I said, well, how could it be any more personal than a picture of Peter Griffin on a wanted poster that says plagiarist?
They made fun of me.
Yeah, that's
Why
true
can't I
too.
make fun of them? Seth,
Yeah, what the fuck?
you shot a baby. Likely due to the
Man, shut
network
the fuck up.
just
It's a
wanting the beef
joke.
to
Like,
be
it's a
over.
cartoon.
Both Family Guy
This
and
is my problem with people. People be maybe it's the time that we in. I miss the days, and I wasn't even around them days because I was young, or it was a little bit before my time. But what happened to the days where you could actually make a joke? You could say some shit that was fucked up. It's like, that's fucked up, bro. But people just laughed and they moved on. Oh, you shot a baby. You would have sworn by that comment that he literally took a gun and actually shot a living baby. Like, bro, it's a cartoon, dog. It's a cartoon. A baby was killed in a cartoon. Oh my God. Like, what are we talking? It's for adults. It's an adult cartoon. It's jokes. It's funny. What the fuck? If you didn't find it funny, fine. But you didn't find it funny. I'm sure there were people that thought it was funny. You know what I'm saying? I hate when people do that. Like, oh, that's not funny. As if, like, they're the authority on what's funny or not. You didn't find it funny. Plenty of people probably did. Like, bro, it's a joke. It's a cartoon.
The Simpsons stopped taking jabs at each other for a while. Allegedly, Matt Groening was upset with Seth for many years after this, and although Seth MacFarlane never apologized for this explosive joke, he has been very honest about his admiration for The Simpsons and Matt Groening.
And the Simpsons guys don't like you either, right?
That's more of a friendly rivalry. They take shots at us, we take shots at them. Matt Groening is a friend of mine. He's a great guy. That's more of like a, you know, all in good fun kind of thing.
He even wrote a line in a Family Guy episode essentially admitting to stealing from The Simpsons.
Get up. You're on my side of the bed. Peter.
We act like we didn't take a lot from The Simpsons. We took a lot from The Simpsons.
They seem to make amends by doing an official Simpsons and Family Guy crossover episode in 2014. However, there was still a tiny bit of tension behind the scenes. In the end, everyone from both camps loved it, except maybe Seth MacFarlane. The running theme of the episode was that Family Guy stole everything from The Simpsons. They made this point over and over and over and over. Apparently, at some point, Seth told his staff, guys, enough. It's clear that Seth MacFarlane does hold The Simpsons in high regard, but he also believes he deserves his respect. After all, Family Guy did win 9 Primetime Emmy Awards and is loved by millions of fans around the world. And it's actually because of this success that the South Park creators are jealous and hold resentment towards him, with Trey Parker saying, "The biggest thing is that you put everything into your show. It's like you've got to die for it. When you're an artist, you've got to say to yourself, this is all that matters, and if it kills me, so be it." And then you have the Family Guy writing staff who come in 9 to 5, write their gags, and go home. But what I absolutely must say to you is that this totally, purely 100% completely comes from a place of jealousy. Because when we're sitting there in our room, it's 3 in the morning and we're 12 hours from having to air, and we don't have, like, a third act, wondering why we do this to ourselves. We're just totally jealous of their job. At the end of the day, these shows are all completely different styles of comedy, and whichever one you love.
And I just said that too, because the South Park stuff, you could tell it's like it take a lot of work. You could just look at the episode to come up with the shit they come up with. Is like, yo, you know, like he said, it's not this is not 9 to 5 comedy, though. This is life and death. We breathing this shit. We up days, nights. I could believe that, because you see some of the episodes and it's so creative, and the effort they put into it is like, okay, you could tell this wasn't just some. It's not really gag. They don't do gag comedy. It's fucking. It's telling a storyline and it's funny as shit as they doing it. So.
Love the most is just down to personal preference, and they all will be considered legendary in the history of adult animation.
Yeah, I was down to that video, but yeah, I could see what they mean. Not jealous like it's a better show, because it's not a better show. Jealous in terms of like the success. I can't say success. The success that it has garnered over the years, with it being so simple and the hard work they put in. I don't know how much Emmys and all whatever stuff they got too, but it's like fuck, bro. These motherfuckers is just getting all this credit and this shit's so easy. They could do the same thing too if they wanted to, but they don't. It's different styles of comedy, but and you see these motherfuckers is coming in here with they watered down shit and getting all this credit, and we fucking blood, sweat, and tears. Not even some nights we not even getting no sleep to make this shit like an actual storyline and to keep it funny, which is hard. It's like fuck. So I can see why they like, ah, damn, probably jealous a little bit, because they was pulling in views. They getting a lot of views, and so like you said with Family Guy, you don't have to think too much about it. You just turn it. Even though South Park is not like, oh my god, like you have to, like it's a fucking. It's not that deep, but it's more of a storyline. Like you actually have to pay attention to know what's going on. Family Guy, you really don't. Like you said, you could be doing something else in the background. Could you be playing And you probably still be laughing because you just hear a stupid little joke. And you like, oh, that's funny, or a reference. It's like, oh, I get it. But it's not too much to think about. It's not that deep. But that's the end of the video, though. This shit was funny. This shit was funny. I genuinely had tears coming out my eyes. This is crazy. But he's like the cuttlefish, Kyle. That Asian dude, I forgot what the name of the restaurant is, but that motherfucker funny. But they got some characters in South Park. I think I want to watch some South Park right now too. That shit is funny. Another episode is Strong Woman. Yeah, with fucking what's his name? Macho Man Randy Savage. And he was like, I'm coming here to kick the shit out of all the women here because I'm a strong woman. And he's like, I just turned into a woman last week. And I'm here to dominate the competition. I was like, yo, what the fuck? No, nah, bro. I'm about to watch South Park right now, bro. Fuck that. That shit was funny. But that's the end of the video. Comment, like, subscribe. I'll be back to y'all with another one.